Hare Krishna. Welcome again to our evening katha. We hope you are all safe and remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. Most of us are under some form of lockdown, lock-in, and so we have nothing else to do except read and chant and hear and worship the Lord. This is an incredible opportunity, so we hope we're all taking advantage. And today we're going to do some Gaura Lila and talk about how actually the Sankirtan movement was born under lockdown, and then later it broke out and went all over the world. So since we're in Gaura Lila, we'll sing a very beautiful song about Lord Chaitanya, but this one is in Brijbhasa language. Most of you know, because everybody knows, this is Deena Bandhu's favorite bhajan. Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Balle Chandana Tilaka Manohara Alaka Shobhe Kapolana Me Balle Chandana Tilaka Manohara Alaka Shobhe Kapolana Bolo Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Shire Chuda Darashani Rale Vanapula Mala Hiya Pardole Shire Chuda Darashani Rale Vanapula Mala Hiya Pardole Paihirna Pita Patambara Shobe Nupura Runu Junu Charanana Me Paihirna Pita Patambara Shobe Nupura Runu Junu Charanana Bola Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Radha Krishna Ekatanu Hai Niduvana Maje Bansi Bajave Radha Krishna Ekatanu Hai Niduvana Maje Bansi Bajave Visvarupa Ki Prabhu Ji Sahi Avata Prakatai Nariya Me Visvarupa Ki Prabhu Ji Sahi Avata Prakatai Nariya Bola Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Lala Sachidu Lala Nachata Sri Hari Kirtana Me Koi gavat hai Radha Krishna Naam Koi gavat hai Hari Gunagan Koi gavat hai Radha Krishna Naam Koi gavat hai Hari Gunagan Mridanga Tala Madhura Rasala Bajat hai Koi Rangana Me Mridanga Tala Madhura Rasala bajata hai koi rangana mein bolo sundara lala satya dulala nachata Sri Hari Kirtana mein sundara lala satya dulala nachata Sri Hari Kirtana mein nachata Sri Hari Kirtana mein bolo nachata Sri Hari Kirtana mein bolo Sri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Bol. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandigam Adadana Srinandan Daividam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padam Bhujo Dulisyam Janma Janmani Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhuveva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So again, we welcome you this evening to our wonderful Katha program. We hope all of you are safe. Today we're going to do a little bit of Gaur Lila, because I was considering that actually Sankirtan movement was born under a lockdown, locked in kind of situation. Because remember, Lord Chaitanya started his, after going to Gaya and becoming initiated by Iswar Puri, then he became mad with the holy name. And all the Vaishnavas who knew Nimai before as a big arrogant scholar, they were very happy. They were always praying that if this Nitai becomes a Vaishnava, it will be most wonderful. So then he began his kirtan in the house of Sriva Sangan. Because at that time, Navadvip was overflooded with a coronavirus of envious people, coronavirus of envy. And so Mahaprabhu was only doing his kirtan for those who were faithful. And many atheists, they were used to make fun that these Vaishnavas, they can't get enough to eat, so they're howling all night long. What is this nonsense? They're disturbing our sleep. They're ruining our Hindu dharma. This is not our Hindu dharma to scream at night like they're doing. So he kept all that coronavirus of envy out of the house. And many interesting pastimes happened at this time. One time there was one Gopal Chapala, one Brahmin, but he was a bit atheistic, so he also was criticizing. He also tried to get in so many ways. Then he just blasphemed Lord Chaitanya like anything. And he blasphemed Srivas Thakur. So he went and he got all the puja, all the paraphernalia for the puja of Durga, and at night he secretly placed it on Srivasa's doorstep. In the morning when Srivasa opened his door, he saw all the puja, red flowers and kumkum and wine and so many things on his doorstep. So he immediately called all the respectable people of the neighborhood. Just see, now you know my real position. I'm only a pretend Vaishnava, actually secretly I'm a Sakta worshipping Bhavani, Lord Shiva's wife. And all the gentlemen, hi, they began to cry. Who has done this horrible thing? They immediately called the sweeper, they had the place cleansed, they took cow dung and water and washed the whole place. And they were very sad. Meanwhile, that Gopal Chapala, because he blasphemed Srivasa in this way, he got leprosy after 3 days. And suddenly his beautiful nose began to melt away, his fingers, everything was destroyed. He met Nimai on the road. He said, "You've given mercy to everyone, now you please give mercy to me." And Nimai became very angry. "I will never give mercy to you. You have offended my great devotee." You will suffer like this for millions of births. In this way, Gopal Chafala was left suffering and suffering. He did not get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Later, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after taking sannyas and again returned to Navadvip, he came to Kulia. He met that Brahmin again, and he again that Brahmin begged for his mercy. And Mahaprabhu told him, you go, and only Srivas can forgive you for this offense. So he went and he fell at the feet of Srivas. Srivas blessed him, and then he went back to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu blessed him, and he was free from all of his suffering. So this way the kirtan was going on. One other Brahmin came. He was not allowed in the house. He became very angry. So next day when he saw Nimai going for his bath in the Ganga, he broke his Brahmin thread and said, you will be bereft of all material happiness. And Nimai jumped in the air, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. In this way, the kirtan was going on behind closed doors with Nimai chanting and dancing. The Vaishnavas rolling on the ground, pulling their hair, crying, so much tears. The Srivasa's floor became wet with their tears. They were completely in ecstasy, unaware of anything. Even one day, Srivasa's son died. When the women began to cry, Srivasa went and stop, you'll destroy Mahaprabhu's mood, you stop crying. And he came back, the kirtan continued. When it ended, Mahaprabhu opened his eyes and he looked around. He said, something has happened. What happened? He said, my son has died. Why wasn't I informed before? Because you were in ecstasy. So we didn't want to disturb your ecstasy. And Mahaprabhu went into the room where all the ladies were crying, and he put his hand on the chest of Srivasa's son. He said, why have you left like this? He said, I'm just an ordinary... Suddenly the boy sat up and spoke for a few moments. He said, I'm an ordinary jeev under your control. My time in this body was up. By your order I have to go to my next body. And everybody in Srivasa's house got transcendental knowledge. And then the boy again left his body, and they performed all the funeral ceremonies. But Mahaprabhu was amazed that in the nocturnal kirtans, even Srivas was not disturbed by his son's death. Another time, because in these kirtans, Mahaprabhu was giving Krishna Prem to everyone. Whatever they wanted, Mahaprabhu was giving. So one time they asked, the devotees asked, why you've excluded giving Krishna Prem to Mother Sachi? She's an offender at the lotus feet of Vaishnava. She is offended Advaita Prabhu. Therefore she cannot get Krishna Prem. And everyone was astonished. The woman who bore you from her womb, how is it possible? He said, such is the power of Vaishnava aparad. So then they were told what happened was that Lord Chaitanya's older brother, Viswarup, he was uninterested in playing in so many things. He used to go to the house of Advaitacharya and hear his Vaishnava interpretations of the scriptures. Because he wasn't happy anywhere else. Everybody else was giving Karmakanda and Mayavad and so many other, even of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. But he loved the explanations of Advaitacharya, so he always stayed at the house of Advaitacharya. Nimai would have to go and bring him to get lunch. And later, hearing the instructions of Advaita, he became so detached that finally he left home and became a sannyasi, Shankararanya, Sri Shankararanya. So Mother Sachi within her heart thought, this fellow, he's called Advaita, but he's Dvaita, he's dual. He appears to be our friend, but actually he's our enemy. In this way she has created offense at the lotus feet of Advaita. And only if Advaita forgives her, if she takes the dust of Advaita's feet. And everybody knew that's impossible. How Advaita is going to allow Mother Sachi to take the dust from his feet? And then he said, only nada, 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 nada. Mahaprabhu always used to jokingly call Advaita nada, nada, nada. And so they went to Advaita's house. Advaita heard what the situation was. He came running there. He began to describe the glories of Mother Sachi, that this woman has given birth to our Lord Gauranga. She's completely spotless and there's no question of offense. He began describing Mother Sachi in so many wonderful ways and describing her character. He fainted. So Mother Sachi took advantage. She dove and grabbed the dust of Advaita Prabhu's feet and put it on her head. Then Mahaprabhu blessed her with Krishna Prem. And he said, this is the power of Vaishnava Aparad. It is so powerful. Another time the kirtans were going on, and there was one brahmachari named Mukunda, who was very famous because he only drank milk and took fruit, because he considered that eating grains or any other vegetables and things was taking life. So he was completely sinless. And many times he asked Srivas to enter, and Srivas knew that Lord Chaitanya didn't allow anyone, even though he was sinless. They have to be absorbed in devotional service, not just performing austerities and penances. But finally he begged and pleaded so much that I'm so qualified, I'm so pure, and this and that. So finally he said, yeah, but Lord Chaitanya doesn't allow anyone, you'll have to hide. So he brought this brahmachari into the house and hid him in one corner, and they began the kirtan. As soon as the kirtan began, after some time, suddenly Mahaprabhu stopped the kirtan. He said, who is here? I'm not feeling ecstasy today. Who is here? Who is here? And Srivas, being frightened, he didn't want to hide anything from the Lord, because who can hide anything from the Lord? So he pointed out to this brahmachari that he only drinks milk and doesn't take any grains. And he said, you think you can get devotional service just by drinking milk? Get him out of the house. In this way, that poor brahmachari was very concerned, and he thought, oh, how will I ever get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya? He repented his position as being proud of his austerities. As soon as he was under that, began lamenting being proud of his austerities, and Mahaprabhu grabbed him, had the devotees bring him back in. He said, yes, one should not be proud of his austerities. I can only be achieved by devotional service, no other means. Not by wealth, not by performing sacrifice, not by great austerities. No other way I can be gotten except by devotional service. Finally, in Chaitanya Bhagavat, some of these stories are from Chaitanya Charitamrita, some of them from Chaitanya Bhagavat. But this description of the Mahaprakash Lila, which took place locked in Srivasangan, is taken from Chaitanya Bhagavat. One day the Lord came as usual to Srivasangan, and he looked around in all four directions. Everybody, understanding his desire, immediately started Nam Sankirtan. And the devotees were dancing and chanting in ecstasy. Tears were flowing from their eyes. Then suddenly the Lord got up and he sat down on the throne of Vishnu. Now they had seen him do this before, but he would only do it temporarily. This time he sat down and demonstrated his full opulence as the Lord of Vaikuntha. And all the devotees were astonished. And they were just crying and crying to see the Lord in this position. Then the Lord began to call chant the mantras for Abhishek, chant the mantras for Abhishek. And then the devotees in ecstasy began to chant the Purusha Sukta prayers. Sahasra Sirsa Purusha, Sahasaksha, Sahasrapat. And then they began to bring water from the Ganga. And ordinarily, Chaitanya Bhagavat describes that traditionally 108 pots are used, but they brought hundreds and hundreds of pots of water from the Ganga, and with a very fine cloth they strained it. Then everybody began to come forward and pour water. Lord Advaita came, Lord Nityananda came, Murari came, Govinda came, everybody came, Jagadananda came, everybody was pouring water. And they mixed this water with so many wonderful ingredients, with camphor and other ingredients. In this way they were singing and chanting, and everyone was pouring water on the Lord, and this beautiful Abhishek was going on. Lord was very, very satisfied with their Abhishek. When they finished their Abhishek, then they dried off the Lord and offered him dry clothes. And then they cleaned up the Vishnu Singhasan, and again Mahaprabhu sat down and said, bring something to eat. No, then they began, first they did the worship. They brought all the 16 ingredients for doing the puja, and they performed a beautiful artik ceremony. Lord Nityananda grabbed a umbrella and held it over the Lord's head. Some other fortunate soul was panning with a chamara fan. In this way, with 16 upacharas, they performed the artik of Lord Chaitanya. Then Lord Chaitanya said, I'm hungry. Then everybody just began, somebody brought bananas, somebody brought sweets, somebody brought this, somebody brought that. It's described soaked mung. They also brought, I guess that means sprouts. So Mahaprabhu was very fond of sprouts, it looks like. So, and then somebody ran outside and brought some sweets, and they brought all different types of sweets. Somebody brought pots and pots of yogurt, hundreds of pots of yogurt, hundreds of pots of milk, hundreds of pots of special preparations. And Lord was eating everything. Everyone was coming and offering the Lord. Lord was eating everything by His mystic power, and nobody could understand how He was eating so much. It was impossible for... Then somebody brought bunches and hundreds of bunches of bananas. Lord ate everything. And then He called for more, and they began to run farther away to bring more things to feed the Lord. In this way, this pastime goes on and on and on. And finally, Mahaprabhu called Srivas. And he, Srivas, do you remember that time in Devananda's ashram? You were listening to Bhagavatam and hearing the verses, you fell on the floor and began to manifest Astasakwiki bhav. But being dry and personal, they couldn't understand your position. And the disciples just threw you out the door. And the Guru, being just as ignorant as his disciples, Devananda Pandit, he didn't stop them. You felt very bad and you went home and began to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Then you do remember that time I entered your body, you achieved Krishna praying Srimad Bhagavatam. You remember that? And Srivas was totally amazed. And the devotees started more and more kirtan. Then he called another devotee. And Mahaprabhu would remind them of the previous encounters. At that time they didn't recognize Him. Personality of Godhead, the Lord Himself. How fortune. At the time you were very sick and a doctor came in the night to serve you. That devotee was astounded and fell on the feet of the Lord. Then he called Gangadas. You remember that night when the Muslim soldiers who had come to attack your house, you ran to the boat gap, but there was no around. You remember suddenly a boatman appeared on the scene and offered you to take you across the river? That was myself. I took you across the river and accepted only a coin in return for taking you across the river. That was me. Gangadas was totally amazed. Then he told the devotees, bring Sridhar. And Mahaprabhu told them, you just go. They said, where is Sridhar? And Mahaprabhu told them the direction. You will hear him calling my name. Then by hearing his calling of my name, you will find him. So sure enough, they ran to the direction that Mahaprabhu told, and they heard somebody calling out Mahaprabhu's name. And they came and they told Sridhar, you have to come immediately. Mahaprabhu wants to see you. He was totally, the Lord wants to see me. They brought Sridhar there, and Lord described all his wonderful pastimes with Sridhar. He said, remember how he used to come and bargain with you half price. And then you the banana leaves, banana plates away, and you would grab them and we would have a tug of war. And finally you would have to admit defeat and take and say, please go to some other banana plate. No, you're my supplier, I will only come to you. In this way you remember all these things. Sridhar was just amazed, remembering all the wonderful pastimes. How he said, only I eat from my rice, from the banana leaves, from you only. And you were I'm simply amazed at your devotion. You were living so poorly, and yet you were using 50% of your income to worship Mother Ganga. And then all night you would sing my name. And all the neighbors said, oh, this poor fellow, he's a Vaishnava, but he's unable to earn enough to fill his belly. He's crying all night long from hurting his belly. We can't get any sleep. What is this guy doing? You remember all those things? And how he would come and joke with you and sometimes steal your things. In this way, Sridhar was just astounded. And he asked Sridhar for any benediction. And Sridhar said, just let me always remember that person who bargained with me for his lotus feet. Mahaprabhu gave him that benediction. Then he called for Advaita. And he told Advaita. Advaita came and bowed at the feet of the Lord. He said, Nada, what benediction do you want? He said, I've already achieved everything I need. I don't want any benediction. Then he called Murari. He said, oh Murari, you don't know who I am? And suddenly Murari looked and he saw before him, just as beautiful as color of fresh green grass, Lord Ram. On his side was Lakshman, on the other side was Sita, and in the foreground he saw himself as Hanuman. And so many tears came from his eyes, he was no longer able to see. He said, yes, you are my eternal servant, birth after birth after birth. Know this for sure, Murari Gupta. Then he said, bring Haridas. So then the devotees, they brought Haridas. Lord wants to see you. Haridas said, no, I'm low-born and I'm not qualified. He said, no, Lord wants to see you. They brought Haridas there into the assembly. And Lord began to describe to Haridas, you remember that time the Kazi had you beaten through 22 marketplaces. I immediately came there from Vaikuntha with my Sudarshan chakra to cut them all to pieces, but only because you were praying for their welfare that I stopped. I couldn't kill them because you had forgiven them and begging for their welfare. Then I stopped. And then I myself entered your body, Haridas. Remember, you didn't feel any beating. And Mahaprabhu pulled his cloth aside and said, just see, I have accepted all the beatings, the scars are there. And Haridas fell on the ground, he was just crying. He said, Haridas, you're the greatest because you're always remembering me no matter what. Even though you're in a low birth, this low birth doesn't matter. Because you're non-different from me. Your caste and my caste are the same. So we know Mahaprabhu was in a high caste Brahmin family and Haridas was in a low caste, was not even in the caste system. He was a Yavan. But Mahaprabhu said, you're the same as me. He accepted Haridas as non-different. Because anyone who takes shelter of the holy name, we cannot identify him with his previous ashram, previous situation. And he said, because you're always remembering, oh Lord, I'm not hardly ever remembering you. Not like Draupadi. Draupadi, simply by remembering you, she was supplied unlimited amounts of cloth in the assembly when they tried to bless her naked. She was actually remembering you. And Parvati, when she was attacked by the witches, she remembered you and you saved her from the witches. Prahlad, he was attacked by his father, Hiranyakashipu, who threw him in a pit of snakes, threw him off a cliff, put him in a pot of boiling oil, had so many demons attack him. Still they were unable to hurt him because he was actually remembering you. And Pandavas, one time they were in the forest. That forest is Kamivan, just here on the western side of Braj, just near Bimalkund. We were talking about Bimalkund the other day. Just near Bimalkund they were camped. And Duryodhana had sent him, Ras Rishi, you go there after Draupadi has eaten. Because as soon as she would eat, she had an Akshay Patra, but as soon as she ate, it would not supply any food till the next day. And Durvas Rishi came with thousands and thousands of the 50,000 sages traveling with him. So when somebody, great sage comes, you have to offer them nice food and everything. So they sent Durvas Rishi to the river nearby to take his bath with all this. And then Draupadi, Prabhupada said, the secret weapon of the woman is tears. At that moment, Lord Krishna appeared and she said, oh Devikananda, now you're here, we're in big trouble. And she began to cry. I said, what is the trouble? And she told the situation. He said, bring the pot. And Lord Krishna found a little piece of palak, spinach, stuck on the spot. And he took that little piece of spinach leaf and ate it. He said, now I'm fully satisfied. Therefore we see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, patram pushvam pailam, just a little leaf of spinach, he was fully satisfied, just to prove this verse. And Durvas Rishi and all his friends, they were in the water and they felt, whoa. In Spanish we call it bloqueado. I think you can understand. Because I can't eat anything. No. And he told Bhima, now go there, and Krishna told Bhima, you go there, take your club and go. And they saw Bhima coming with his club, because they knew there's a big insult if they don't eat. After being invited, then there's a big insult. So they didn't want to get trouble with Bhima and his club. So without even drying their cloth, they just wrapped their cloth around and ran away. So simply by remembering you, the Pandavas were saved from the wrath of Durvasrishi. They were actually remembering you. Ajamil, even though he spent his whole life doing sins, at the end of his life, he saw his son and called out the name Narayan, and you remember, and suddenly came in his mind, just remembering he was delivered. But I am not of that caliber. And Mahaprabhu said, no, Haridas, you have conquered me because you're always remembering my lotus feet. Now whatever benediction you want, you take. And Haridas said, my Lord, only one benediction I want. That is that you always let me take the remnants of your devotees. That is the only benediction I require. And Mahaprabhu was very happy with Haridas. And wait. Then came Mukunda. And although he was always requesting the devotees to intervene on his behalf, because Mahaprabhu was very angry with him. And the Mahaprabhu said, he was not at all inclined. And he called Mukunda there. He said, remember, you're very duplicitous. In front of the Vaishnavas, you talk Vaishnava philosophy. And then you go to the Mayavadis and you speak Mayavad philosophy. So one side, you're massaging me with your sweet singing. The other side, you're beating me with this non-devotional philosophy, because anybody who preaches anything other than devotion is beating me. And Mukunda fell on the feet of the Lord. And begged and pleaded, and finally the Lord was pleased. First he told the devotees, you throw this fellow out. So they threw Mukunda out. And Mukunda asked the devotees, and they threw him out, ask him when I will be delivered. When will I get his association again? They came back, Mahaprabhu telling him 10 million births. As soon as they went outside, as soon as he heard 10 million births, he said, at least I will see him again, I will see him again. Mahaprabhu, being the self-same Paramatma in the heart of everyone, he understood Mukunda's desire, understood Mukunda's heart. And he immediately, all right, bring him in. So they brought Mukunda in. In this way, there was, he blessed him that you will always sing for me, you will be my eternal singer. Then they called Narayani, and Lord told Narayani to cry. And this little baby, she began to cry and called Krishna's name, and everyone was astonished. In this way, everyone passed the night in wonderful kirtan with the Lord. It went on for 21 hours, but nobody felt tired, nobody felt thirsty or hungry. Everyone was just relishing. Actually, they were just completely in ecstasy for this whole time. This Lila is called the Mahaprakash. This all appeared in lockdown circumstances. So later the Lord was performing his kirtan pastimes in lockdown situation. But there was many pious people that came and complained to the Lord that because of these atheistic people were not able to enjoy your kirtan. And Mahaprabhu instructed them to do kirtan in their houses. So they all began to do kirtan in their houses. And he instructed them specifically to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then he told them also, you chant Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. It's very clearly mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Mahaprabhu told them to chant these names. So then all over Nadia, people began to do kirtan in their homes. And the atheists were disturbed. And the Muslims were disturbed. So finally the Qazi was walking around one night. And he heard the Hindus calling out the names of their Hindu gods. And he became furious. He burst into the house. With his shoes on, he smashed the mridanga. And he threatened that if they continue doing this howling of these names of your Hindu gods, then I will finish you all and ruin and take away your caste to make you all Muslims, and you will bow down at the feet of Allah. In this way the Hindus were very frightened. So next morning they went to Nimai Pandit. They told Nimai Pandit that this and this happened. Nimai became furious. He began to tremble, and his face flushed red like a lotus flower. So he told all the people, you tell everyone, go to everybody's house, tell them to come in the evening and bring torches. As many torches as you can find. And we're all going to have Nam Sankirtan. This is, now the Kirtan was locked in, now it's going to break out. Breaking through to the other side. So everyone went in all four directions, telling all the devotees. Nimai Pandit is calling everyone for Kirtan. Tonight, bring your torches and kartals and wampers. They specifically mentioned wampers. Wampers were even 500 years ago. Kartals, mridangas, and wampers. In this way, people began to have competition who could make the biggest torch. And thousands and thousands of torches were gathered together and made, and some people were employed for carrying pots of oil to put on the torches. In this way, gradually in the evening, everyone began to gather. Described from every direction, people were flowing like endless rivers. Millions of people joined. Then Mahaprabhu told them to start up the kirtan and light up their torches. Suddenly, millions of torches were lit up. And nobody could tell that it was nighttime. It appeared like daytime. It appeared like the moon had fallen down on the ground. And they began their heavy kirtan. And Mahaprabhu made 3 parties. He put Haridas in front and Advaita beside him, and I forget who's behind. And then when he looked at Lord Nityananda, said, Lord Nityananda said, I'm not leaving your side. Yes, I will be with you. In this way, all the devotees marched with all these 3 kirtan parties. It looked like a huge river of lightning was flowing down the bank of the Ganga, and everybody was chanting and dancing, and everybody was yelling at the top of their lungs, Hari Hari, Hari Hari, Hari Hari, and Mahamantra was sounding, and people were chanting Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Even the moon was surprised to see the light on the earth, and Mahaprabhu was very beautiful, and he was decorated with all types of beautiful ornaments and chandan over his whole body, and describes specifically that he wore his dhoti in trikach, just like we fold our dhoti one way here, one way behind, but sometimes you see they lift up and put 3rd time. That is called srikach. So Mahaprabhu was wearing his dhoti. Most of the time in Chaitanya Bhagavat describes Mahaprabhu with trikach, 3 folds, like this. And he was more beautiful, his complexion was more beautiful than the moon. In this way the devotees were chanting, and more and more people were joining, and mystically every doorstep in the village was decorated with wonderful things, and water pots with coconuts and mango leaves and broken and unbroken grains, and flowers were showering down mystically in every direction. Nobody had seen such opulence. It appeared that Lakshmi herself, unable to bear Lord Chaitanya, who's none other than the Lord of Vaikuntha himself, walking on the hard ground of Nadia, she showered flowers, beautiful flowers. Mahaprabhu wore a beautiful garland of jasmine that all the way down to his feet, that's Jalamala, was just trembling like anything. And Mahaprabhu's beautiful locks were there, his beautiful tilak was there. Everybody was astounded. It appeared like a new Cupid had appeared on the scene. And everybody was chanting and dancing. They went along the banks of the Ganga, more people joined. So many torches were there. It looked like daytime, even though it was perfect nighttime. Finally, they came to the village before the Qazi's house.
You wouldn't mention that they were having 4 arms?
Not yet. When they got to the village, again, was there, and everybody's doorstep was so many opulent things, flags, silken flags, and pots of coconuts, and flowers were showered upon the path, and everybody was just going mad with kirtan, and everybody was waving their torches, and they were shouting out, beat the Kali, beat the Qazi, beat the Qazi, beat the Qazi. And the kirtan was so ecstatic, nobody knew how they were playing kartals. They were carrying, some were carrying pots of oil, some were carrying torches. They all appeared with 4 arms. To play kartals and carry their oil pot or a torch, but everybody had forgotten themselves in ecstasy. They couldn't realize themselves. Nobody understood how he was playing kartals and carrying his torch at the same torch or water or oil pot at the same time. Then they passed through the village near the Qazi's house. Then from the Qazi's house he heard this noise. He sent his men. His men went running. And they, seeing the Lord, they became completely astonished. They'd never seen anyone so beautiful. They'd never seen so many millions of people carrying torches. Some of them became so frightened, they ripped off their turbans and hid in the crowd. Those who had beards put their heads down so nobody would recognize them. And some of the men ran back to the Qazi. That Nimai Pandit is coming with a whole bunch of people. They're chanting the names of the Hindu gods. And Qazi said he must be going to some wedding procession. We don't think so. He seems to be in an angry mood. And then the Qazi came out to see, and all the aces were very happy. Now the Qazi has come. This Nimai will get his just rewards. He can chant and dance alone, but as soon as the Qazi sees him, he will bring his men and he's going to get his just deserts. This way, as soon as the Qazi saw Lord Chaitanya and his huge crowd of people doing this Nam Sankirtan process, now no longer locked in, no under lockdown condition, they were free because the coronavirus of envy had been smashed. So they were free to chant very freely. He ran back into his house, and the people came, and Mahaprabhu said, smash his house, and the people began to smash the house. They pulled up his banana trees, pulled up his hedges, pulled up his garden. They broke the front of the house. And Mahaprabhu told, they had millions of torches, said, burn the house down, burn him down inside his house. But the devotees, with soft hearts, they said, no, please save him, please save him. So Mahaprabhu stopped the people from burning down the house. And then he turned, he went to the next village with his kirtan, and everybody joined in the next village. And he went to the village of weavers, and all the weavers joined. He went to the cowherds, and the cowherds joined in the kirtan. In this way, he led everyone back to their houses and performed the.
What about when he talked to God?
That one's in. This is from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Chaitanya Bhagavat tells a different story. Chaitanya Charitamrita tells he talked to the Qazi, but somehow Chaitanya Bhagavat is very dramatic. He was telling, chop off his head, chop off his head, chop off his head, burn his house down, burn him up along with his house. Very dramatic situation. In this way, the Sankirtan started out in a lockdown condition and finally broke out into the open, and they released this coronavirus that spread all over the world by the mercy, especially of Srila Prabhupada. And everybody who gets infected with this coronavirus, he gets karuna in his heart, and he wants to tell everybody to please chant. Prabhupada told, even if you don't know anything, you just tell someone to chant Hare Krishna. If they ask why, he said, I don't know. I just chant and I can't stop. So it is a very wonderful infection. So we are hoping that this present situation will resolve, so again we can go back on the streets and chant holy name and save people from this terrible material existence. Now their fun has been destroyed. Now people maybe will hopefully be ready to hear the philosophy. This material world is a miserable place, not meant for us to stay here and enjoy sense gratification. It's meant for us to make a permanent solution. All these temporary solutions won't help us. And only thing that will help us is devotional service of the Lord. And Vrindavan Das Thakur ends this part of the book, this chapter, by saying anybody who hears about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan protest will get Krishna Prem. So you're all very fortunate tonight. You've been able to hear all about the wonderful pastimes, some of the wonderful pastimes in Sri Vasangan, and the Kazi pastime as described in Chaitanya Bhagavat. I know Vrindavan Das describes things a little bit differently, but this was a very interesting way to hear this pastime. So we hope you will all... All right, can we tell one more pastime? Does I hear a yes coming through the line? All right. Because today is Ekadasi, there's one pastime I'm very fond of telling in Ekadasi. Because not far from Vrindavan, in fact, when you go on the way to Radhakund and you cross over the bridge, over the railway crossing, just near that railway crossing, if you go over the bridge and then make a U-turn and come back, you'll find a little road that goes to a place called Bahulavan. And Bahulavan got its name because there used to live a cow named Bahula. Very beautiful, pious cow named Bahula. And one day, she was a very pious cow, and one day it was Ekadasi, and she decided to do Nirjal, even though she was very, 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 very pregnant. Now we don't recommend this to the ladies, that if you're pregnant you perform austerities like this, but Bahula cow was a very exceptional cow. So she decided to do Nirjal. So she spent the whole day fasting and remembering the Lord. The next morning on the Dwadasi day, she delivered her calf. After delivering the calf, she just spent the whole day fasting and fasting and fasting and fasting, not even a drop of water. Now she just went through the trauma of childbirth. And she was so thirsty. The only thing she could think of was to go get some water. Even she didn't feed the first milk to her calves, because the first milk that comes from a calf who's just calved is not, even the commercial dairies recognize it's not meant for human consumption. It's only for the calf. It's filled with probiotics. We make antibiotics. Bio means life, anti means against life. We make antibiotics, but nature makes probiotics. And the cows become very, very healthy. So without even feeding her first milk, colostra we call it, she went off to look for water. Now those of you who watch the National Geographic channel, then you know that where do the predators always hang out? By the water hole. So Bahula came down to drink water. Suddenly a lion appeared on the scene. As soon as she saw the lion, she bowed down and prayed to him and prayed, please, I'll come back and let you eat me, but let me go feed my first milk to my calf. I promise I'll come back. See, my hooves are not crossed. I'll promise I'll come back. So we know that lions are very, very ferocious, but somehow or other they're also considered very noble. So the lion said, all right, go feed your calf, but make it quick. He said, meanwhile I'll do my Facebook here. So he was waiting for the cow to return. The cow came back and she began to feed milk to her calf. And she had tears in her eyes. And the calf said, Mata, why are you crying? He said, because this is the last time I will see you. He said, why is that? And she explained the situation. He said, no, you're my mother, you gave life to me, how can you die? Let me go, I'll be eaten by the... He said, no, you'll have your whole life in front of you, I've already lived so much of my life, I will go, you have your whole life. No, you're my mata who gave me life, how can you die? In this way the cowherd boy came. And he saw the argument going on. He said, what's the matter? When he found out, he said, no, you've given me milk my whole life. How come my calf and cow can go? I will go get eaten by the lion. You let me go. No, you let me go. No, you let me go. They were arguing like this. Finally, all three of them went to the lion. The lion, he was waiting there. He looked up, instead of one, he saw three people that come. Everybody saying, eat me. And he pushed him aside. No, eat me. And the calf pushed the calf aside and said, no, eat me. In this way, he was completely bewildered. And at that moment, Lord Krishna appeared on the scene, playing his flute, and then he, by the magic of his flute, he revealed everybody's identity. Because previously, in the heavenly planets, there was two Gandharvas. They were known as Ha and Hu. Don't laugh, this is in Shastra. Ha and Hu. And they were performing some performance for the Gandharvas are very good singers and performers, so they were doing some function for the pleasure of the demigods. At that moment, Parvat Rishi arrived along with his good friend Narad Muni. And all the demigods stood up and offered respect. But Hu and Ha were doing their performance, so they didn't apparently respect Hu and to Parvat Rishi and Narad Muni. So Parvat Rishi got very angry and said, "Are, everybody else stood up and showed respect. You guys didn't do a thing. You're just like animals. Animals don't know how to offer respect to a saintly person. So you should go to the earth and become animals." And then Hu said, "Wait a minute. You're Trikalagya, you can see past, present, and future. You sit in meditation and go back in time and see if not within our hearts, we were busy doing our performance, within our hearts we performed sastang pranam, dandavats." So he sat in meditation and he saw, yes, within their hearts they had performed sastang pranam. So then he said, "Oh, so I will also go to the earth. This Narad Muni, he didn't stop me. He will all go to the earth. Earth was the witness of this whole thing. She will also go." So that Mother Earth, she became Bahula the cow. Narad Muni became the calf. Parvat Rishi was the cowherd boy, and Hu became the lion. So then the question comes, what happened to Ha? And we read in the purport in Srimad Bhagavatam in the Gajendra Moksha Lila that describes the Ha, he became the crocodile who attacked Gajendra.
He did what?
He became the crocodile who attacked Gajendra. So this is one of my favorite Ekadasi stories. So we'll meet you again here tomorrow at 5:30. You please be very careful, stay at home. Just read and chant and study Prabhupada's books and listen to Hari Katha with us every evening. And we'll see you again tomorrow. How many people are?
Right now 80. Right now 80.
80 people are there. All right, wonderful. So thank you all very much. We pray that Srila Prabhupada will bless you all with Krishna Prem, like all the devotees got in this wonderful Lila of Lord Chaitanya. Hare Krishna.